This is a generational investment to modernize our infrastructure, creating millions of good-paying jobs.
President Biden there in La Crosse Tuesday making his pitch for billions in new infrastructure spending. His plan, which has been negotiated with Republicans, would spend nearly $1 trillion to fix roads and bridges, invest in public transportation, water systems, and broadband expansion. Ahead of the president's visit, the White House noted that Wisconsin received a C grade on its infrastructure report card. So we're talking about Wisconsin's transportation needs now with Department of Transportation Secretary-designee Craig Thompson. Secretary, we're glad to have you here on the show. So do you agree with that? A C grade for Wisconsin?
Good morning, Adrienne. Thanks for having me. There's different ways to measure it, but I think it's a fair grade. And, it's one of the things the governor ran on initially was that after literally decades of disinvestment and neglect in our transportation infrastructure here, that we had to reverse that trend. And we've started to, but you don't fix that in 2.5 years.
Where would you say Wisconsin gets an F? What is the worst part when it comes to transportation?
Well, I don't know if I'm willing to give Wisconsin an F anywhere, but I believe we've stopped the decline in the condition of our state highways. We've gotten more money to the locals, but we've got 115,000 miles of roads in this state, and 90% of that is owned by the locals. So they just have a lot of roadway, and they've got a long way to go. I think probably most disappointing to me has probably been, while we've made headway in those areas, while we have tried and we've proposed increased funding for public transportation, that we haven't been able to reach agreement on, and in some ways we've gone backwards, and that is disappointing.
When it comes to the president's infrastructure plan, what investment do you think Wisconsinites would notice the most?
Well, I think they're going to probably, you obviously notice when there's big projects if there's an upgrade somewhere, but I think what we hear most from citizens is just the condition of the roads. And I think they'll see from what we've already done with the historic investment we got at the state level last time. We had 375 projects during this last construction season that we were able to keep all on track. But if we get more federal money, I think people will see simply the condition of their roads, both at the state and the local levels, improve.
And the legislature passed the state budget, and the governor will get to decide what to do with it. It would authorize expanding I-94. That has been a project talked about for a long time now. What is the update there?
So that's the 3.5-mile stretch of I-94 that's right in front of our first place Milwaukee Brewers at AmFam Field. And on each end of that, the Marquette Interchange and the Zoo Interchange is the north legs being done right now, but are largely have been completed and modernized. So this is that stretch in between that's 60 years old and needs to be replaced. So we are very happy that the legislature concurred with our proposal to enumerate the project. But we did move to what we call a supplemental environmental impact statement to make sure that we're hearing everyone's concerns that have raised them, that we're looking at traffic patterns coming out of the pandemic. If there's anything that's changed, we want to make sure that we're looking at the most recent numbers. We're looking at water runoff. We're looking at the environmental concerns. But having that included in the budget allows us to keep moving forward because this is the most dangerous stretch of highway in the state with crash rates 2.5 times that of other areas. And it's in such a critical part of Milwaukee that we need to get this done.
But it has been a little bit controversial, as you just kind of mentioned there. So any idea when that could move forward?
So we're looking at revising the traffic counts, doing some of the updated environmental and all those things, making sure we're having a very robust public information, that we're letting everybody share their concerns. But we're shooting for the end of 2022 to get the federal approval to have what's known as a record of decision so that we can begin fully moving forward and reconstructing that stretch of I-94.
And also in the state budget, state funding for transit programs was cut in half in Milwaukee and Madison. Republicans say that's because of federal coronavirus relief money. Is that an acceptable reason to you? Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. As I said, we in Wisconsin, for years, we haven't funded our public transportation well enough at the state level. And then on top of that, we've prohibited locals from coming up with their own ways to fund transit, which is really unique in the entire country. And so with the pandemic and ridership being down, the federal government did give Madison and Milwaukee and other public transit some more money to help weather that. But I don't think that was a good reason to cut in half. It wasn't ongoing, but for 1 year, to cut the funds to Madison and Milwaukee. That's unfortunate, and it's the exact opposite direction that we need to be going in.
What do you think the governor will do when it comes to the transportation pieces of the budget?
Well, I know the governor is looking at each component of the budget, including transportation, seeing if there's ways, I think with the veto pen, that he can improve things to where our priorities are and want to move forward. But I will say in general, other than that transit component, I think what the legislature passed out on transportation was fairly similar to a lot of the priorities that we had, which was getting more money to the local units of government. There's $100 million there for their local road improvement program, and getting about a $63 million increase for our state highways so that we can continue to improve the conditions on the roadways that we have.
Secretary Thompson, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
The next two-year state spending plan is on to Governor Evers. Lawmakers last week passed the $87 billion budget on bipartisan votes in both chambers. Republicans wrote more than $3 billion in property and income tax cuts into the budget. Some Democrats expressed hope the governor can rework the plan with his powerful veto. The governor has 6 days, excluding Sundays, to take action once it reaches his desk. If he does nothing with it, it automatically becomes law. Our editorial partner, WisPolitics, has the latest on this and other important stories from the state capitol. You'll find that on WisPolitics.com and on Twitter. Next, the local Republican Party trying to launch its own recount of the 2020 presidential election.